Eye colour is determined by two main factors: melanin, both in its type and quantity, and the spectral qualities of the iris, or the way that the wavelengths of light move through the iris. Now, these two factors will determine whether you have brown eyes, like 80% of the world, blue eyes, like 8% of the world, or anything in between. But let's quickly have a look at the anatomy of the eye to see how this works. Light will enter the eye at the front and move between the irises through a hole known as the pupil, which the light is then focused by the lens and projected to the back of the eye onto the retina, which changes it from the wavelengths of light into electrical information and then sent to the brain. Now, eye colour is actually found within the iris. So let's zoom in on the iris and make sense of it. Iris colour is determined by melanocytes at the pigment epithelium at the back of the iris. These cells make melanin. Now, regardless of your eye colour, the number of melanocytes is basically the same. What is different is the type of melanin. If you have blue eyes, your melanocytes would produce pheomelanin, a red-yellow pigment that is dispersed into the stroma of the iris. As light hits the iris, the different wavelengths of white light, being violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red, in particular the blue wavelengths of light will hit the pheomelanin and scatter and move to the superficial or the front of the iris, which gives you the blue coloration. Now, different shades of blue, grey, green are determined by the thickness of the stroma as well as the quantity of pheomelanin. Now, for brown hazel eyes, this is exactly the same mechanism, but we replace pheomelanin for eumelanin, which is then interspersed into the stroma, and now this absorbs a different type of light and scatters brown or a darker colour at the front of the eye and gives a brown or hazel colour.